Alright, so it is now time to make Doggo numero 2. Are you all ready? You all ready for this? Dun 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 dun. No, I don't know. I might get dinged for copyright if I'm even approaching in my off-key singing. Because we all know Jock Jams means business, everyone. Jock Jams means business. You think that the character we're describing would be a good German Shepherd? Nick Drex says a Great Pyrenees. TJ saying for assistance and speed. As far as I know, German Shepherds, that makes sense. For the... Oh, you want to go Pyrenees all the way, says TJ? All right. And I heard an all right. Nerdlepedia. Quick, you and the 9 others need to get in and seal the door. Howdy, Nerdlepedia. Howdy. Oh, all right. So, yeah, Nerdlepedia, and for everyone who came over, thank you. We made our first Dungeons and Doggies character, and we're trying to decide on which breed it should be, which is more of a cosmetic effect because we have the mechanics. We have the mechanics for it down. So we're just discussing what kind of a regular-sized dog could this one be. I had a call for German Shepherd, but TJ changed his vote to a Great Pyrenees to match up with Nictorak. And Pneumonica is saying that that Pointer is the way forward. Pun kind of intended. The Pyrenees can get pretty big. Actually, wait, was a Pyrenees one that was mentioned that is specifically a large doggo? Mastiffs, Saint Bernards, and Alsatians. But I don't know. Would you all consider a Pyrenees to be a large dog instead? Apparently, this one's been elected mayor. Great Pyrenees elected mayor of Minnesota town for the 3rd year in a row. Well, there we go. The portal to the realm of mixed breeds, the Pointer door. I mean, really, they are big boofers. So then, perhaps going for something, because I would say that a German Shepherd would be sort of a regular-sized dog, and as for the Pointer, I mean, perhaps. Let's take a look-see. Oh my gosh. This does seem to be a medium-sized dog. Pointer it is then. A Rottweiler might work too. Pneumonica, you can't just make something that someone shifted their vote to and then suggest something new. Come on now. I tend to go towards Pointer for the character, but Rottweiler's a second choice. Ah, you're killing me, everyone. This dog doesn't exude cocky or confidence? No? Pomeranian is a lapdog size. So is this going to be our sage sorcerer? Our kind of exuding cockiness? A Clydesdale? Great Dane's going to be too big. We want a regular sized dog. Nick Direct, you like you want to go for a Rottweiler? Oh, you know, I love seeing dogs that still have their full tails and their full ears. You hear that, everyone? I love it when dogs have their tails and ears unmodified. Don't you? Yeah. All right. I'm glad I'm getting some agreement that we don't need to chop the tails or ears up or off of our dogs to enjoy them. I mean, they have it, but are we talking unmodified, TJ? Ahem, ahem. Surely you're not a person to just chop off a dog's tail for no reason other than cosmetics, right? There's a lot of good suggestions for the sake of keeping things going. All right, I'm seeing a lot of huskies. So for the sake of keeping things going, we're going to go with a husky. A male regular dog husky. Alrighty. Now, doggo character number 2, after my finger waggling. I mean, this can... Gotta be careful, because stuff like this can open cans of worms where we get into, you know, is are purebred dogs actually put into genetic harm and born into lives of pain and disability, all this other stuff. I'm not going to go off the deep end of PETA or anything, but with this can open up cans of worms. So hashtag just saying. I'm just going to leave it at, please don't cut the tails and ears off your dog. Please. I was looking at getting a bred dog and I couldn't find one that didn't get their tails or ears docked. Yeah, I mean... Hey, J-Man. Well, no, PETA, P-I-T-A. I love PETAs. You can make good sandwiches with those. I'm talking P-E-T-A. No, it's we're making doggo characters, and I was heavily implying that you shouldn't cut the tails off your dogs or cut their ears up for purely cosmetic reasons. There's why. I mean... all right, so, hey, and so, you know what, we actually had Rottweiler as our first doggo character, J-Man, but the crowd spoke and they said that they wanted a husky. But who knows, maybe we'll roll another one and it could end up being a Rottweiler. But we're making some doggo characters tonight, so you came in at a good time. By the way, I hope that you're doing well, everyone. Journeyman is visiting us, and he's an accomplished artiste. And you recently put out some RP content that we went over on the channel. So thank you very much for coming over and seeing us, J-Man. There we go. Got to make sure, everyone, if we don't keep him humble, this man his head will just expand and he'll float into space like a weather balloon. Oh gosh, yeah, too much fun. All right, so we're going to take our almost retired character generator spreadsheet. Remember, this is the last week you're going to see this. So enjoy it while you can, everyone. And let's start rolling some dice to come up with our next dog character. 77, we have another male character. And we're going to roll a D3 to figure out which kind of dog we're going to have. 3, we have a lapdog. So, lapdogs. We are talking about our chihuahuas. We are talking about our pugs, our Pomeranians, our papillons. We're talking dachshunds. Those kinds of... like miniature schnauzers, miniature poodles, things like that. One of my brothers-in-law had a German wire-haired pointer that he had the tail cut short on. Made me sad. Oh. Yes, please, spread the word. Everyone, stop mutilating your dogs for cosmetic reasons. Stop. Please. Could be a corgi. Corgi's a lapdog. Yeah, a little yipper. Exactly, TJ. Alright, so we have a lapdog, and we're going to find out the alignment of our lapdog with 2 percentiles. 86 and 54. We have a neutral evil lapdog. So, neutral evil tends to be selfish. Tends to himself before he tends to others, if he tends to others. This is a small character, S-M-O-L. Small. Alright. What's next? What level are we going to generate this character at? Roll a percentile. We rolled a 40. That is going to put us at level 10. So we're going to gen up a level 10 character of some kind. And now let's see if any of our ability score improvements will be replaced by feats. With a 78, yes. We are going to replace one of our stat bumps with a feat. And what that'll mean is we can use the new feats that exist in this supplement. Terriers fall in lapdog, yeah. A tiny Doberman, I don't see why not. How about a Scotty? A Scottish Terrier, something like that could work out very well, yes. A tiny Doberman, you just described a dachshund. The Chihuahua, 100% evil little bastards. My grandparents had a dachshund. Germanic ancestry, if you can't tell by right over here. One of the mascots. And my grandmother's favorite tennis player was Boris Becker. And so they named the dachshund Boris, and specifically Boris Barker. And that little dachshund was so spoiled. He grew fat on Wendy's hamburgers and occasional sips of their Frosty shakes. I'd be down for a Corgi or a Pomeranian, but the personality of this sounds like a Chihuahua. I'd vote an Italian Greyhound. Are Italian Greyhounds lapdogs? Are they like a miniature version? Any dog that's so excited to see you and pisses themselves is a lapdog. That's a very good definition, huh, J-Man? Jack Russell Terrier might work for a lapdog too. Yeah, yeah. All right, what is the background of this character? Let's roll a 14-sided die. There's 13 traditional backgrounds in the player's handbook, but there's the other background, the awakened animal background, and we'll entertain the fact that we can roll that. 12, a soldier. All right. A soldier background. Now, which kind of soldier was our doggo? Let's roll a d8. Number 5. We're soldier number 5. I don't know what that means just yet. We will get to that soon. Right now, we just want the placeholders. So I guess, J-Man, kind of in terms, this would be like making the outline before you do like the ink work or anything else. Like, we're just sort of sketching right now. We're sketching the outline of our character verbally and conceptually. Personality traits, 7 and 5. And an ideal bond and flaw is going to be 4, 4, 6. Again, placeholders, and we're going to build the character one layer at a time, one step at a time from there forward. Now, we have this soldier, former or current, a lapdog. What is going to be the class of this character? Big golden D12? Are y'all ready? Huh? We rolled a 12. We have a wizard. A wizard. And specifically, a wizard who studies one of the 8 schools, which is going to be 7. We have a necromancer, everyone. We have a neutral evil lapdog necromancer. Now, as for this stuff, I mean, it's going to be the dimensions of the dog. However, what we can roll is the age of the dog. We're going to do that on a percentile set. We rolled 10. So, not a child prodigy, but a young adult. And our young adult is 3 years old. Oh my god, it reanimates its meals, says TJ. I mean, some dogs enjoy their meals for a second time after it comes out the other end, so... Reduce, reuse, and reanimate. You gotta lessen our dependence on the funerary industrial complex, everyone. Reanimates a skeleton just to munch on its legs. All right, we have our placeholders. It's now time to delve into the character and discover who he is. So, Chapter 4, we're going to scroll through. It's going to blink, so if you're sensitive to that, watch out, everyone. Sailor, soldier, here we are. Our proficiencies are going to be athletics and intimidation. Our tool proficiencies are going to be one type of gaming set. Maybe something like dice, right? Like Knucklebones or something. That could be interesting. And vehicles land. Good at driving, you know, carts and such. Some equipment. We are going to get a rank of, or an insignia of rank. A trophy taken from a fallen enemy, a dagger, broken blade. You know what we're going to have this be? A trophy is going to be another trinket, and that's going to be number something, and we'll roll it up. A set of bone dice or deck of cards, so we're going to put dice. A set of common clothies, and a belt pouch with 10 gapuz. Nick Direct says, OMG, this dog has eternal chew bones. What type of gaming set? Clearly a PS4. What, you don't think he'd play PlayStation, says New Monica? Animate the dice to cheat at craps? Oh, goodness. Azrael, that's too clever by half. Yeah, you just use your necromancy to kind of like... and you get him to wiggle a little bit. Oh, wow. That's how he keeps winning all those games, huh? All right, what type of soldier then do we have? We rolled number 5. That is a heal. We have a healer. So this character either was a medic or is still a medic in some kind of an armed forces unit. Nick Direct says healer, quote unquote. Necromancer casts raise stakes. Everyone up your bets are fold. Hey, Diadems, welcome. Casts raise stakes. Oh, gosh. Azrael's welcoming Didymus to the... Oh. It's turning into a very interesting character, even if it wasn't a dog, but maybe especially because it is this small dog here. All right, our background feature is military rank, and in short, that lets us be able to get transportation, equipment, information from people who are friendly to us and recognize our station, right? I can't say that sounds familiar, Diadems. Be careful. It's probably full of something, some rando stuff. Who knows what's inside that box? They have they don't have a Chow. They do have a Pomeranian. There's a Chihuahua rogue. There's a Pomeranian monk, and they have a Dachshund sorcerer. Her name is Morgaine. Captain Marvel is awesome, so I will take that as a good recommendation, huh? There's a French bulldog. There was a husky up above too, and so this is getting the Saint Bernard and all the other stuff here. So, oh, they're interesting. They're classifying the Golden Retriever as a big dog. Oh, and interesting. A German Shepherd is a big dog too. It did indeed, Azrael, and that's because it was referencing Doctor Strange. French Bulldog is a Lapdog. Spaniel is a regular dog. Morgaine, a Dachshund, is a Lapdog. Nightingale, Lapdog Pomeranian. Svetlana, a Beagle. A Beagle Barbarian at that, is a regular dog. I like Captain Marvel. I'm just worried about introducing a character that strong into the MCU. It's like a Superman. I was just kind of griping about Superman earlier this evening as well. Tobias, the Corgi Warlock. Yeah, Superman characters, I have a very hard time jiving with them. I mean, when you're invincible and will win everything, at that point, are you Are you telling a story, or are you just kind of in public? Hey, Misfit, welcome. All right, let's explore the personality of our doggo. I'm going to scoot this over just a little bit. Rin, welcome. Misfit, no, I was so tired. I wouldn't have been able to offer you a good broadcast if I did so last night. And so I made an announcement on Discord and I didn't end up streaming. It would have been bad, I'm sure. And yeah, I believe Azrael, that was the one Rogue did get powers from. I did, Misfit. I slept a lot. Alright, so we have a neutral evil lapdog, male lapdog, who is or was a healer, like a medic, soldier, and is a necromancy wizard. Number 7 personality trait, so I'm going to scoot this over just a little bit more here. It looks like we can still see it. Number 7, I have a crude sense of humor. And number 5, I can stare down a hellhound without flinching. Our character's ideal is number 4, might. In life as in war, the stronger force wins. Oh, that's cool, Misfit. It's great to make those sort of connections. His bond is number 4. I'll never forget the crushing defeat my company suffered or the enemies who dealt it. I think we're definitely telling the story. Maybe into how this person went from being a simple medic in an army unit or whatever, Marines, Navy, into picking up necromancy. And what is our character's flaw? Because we are all flawed creatures. And if you think that you are not out there, that is your flaw. So haha, I win. I'm the humblest person I know. Our flaw is number 6. I'd rather eat my armor than admit when I'm wrong. Captain Marvel, DC Captain Marvel is the one everyone insists on calling Shazam. Everyone says diadems, but I feel like I'm being lazy. Oh, thank you for the host, J-Man. I have a crude sense of humor. I can stare down a hellhound without flinching. So we have a very aggressive little pupper here. Might. In life as in war, the stronger force wins. Bonds. I'll never forget the crushing defeat my company suffered or the enemies who dealt it. And flaws. I'd rather eat my armor than admit when I'm wrong. So we're looking for kind of an aggressive, stubborn lapdog. To be someone who is helpful, right? Was in the army, joined up and was a medic, and, company suffered a defeat, nothing he could do, and maybe that's when he started taking up necromancy. Definitely sounding like a Pomeranian. Classic Napoleon complex little dog. I don't need this yet. Now let's go and build our doggo. Okay, so we are going to get a charisma bump. And our base speed is 30. Common, dog 1, dog 2. We already have our size, we're small. Perception. We're gonna get the cast Charm Person. So this is Best Friend. Charm Person once per long rest off of Charisma. We are also going to have a natural bite attack. Which is going to be 1d8 plus whatever our strength ends up being. Alright, so that's our basic dog stuff. Now, being a lapdog in particular. Tiny of body but giant of heart, lapdogs are known for nimble movement and fearless attitude. This category includes Chihuahuas, Terriers, and Maltese. Your size is small, your dex score increases by 1, so let's put our dex up. And slippery. If your attack is a critical hit, you may dodge as a free action after resolving the attack. You're off to bed, Coffee? Thanks for joining us. Always great seeing you. Here, let's give Coffee Cat a little hype. There we go. And my headphones just died, so pardon me, uno momento, por favor. Aw, J-Man, thank you. Right as my headset died too. J-Man Senpai noticed me. What do you have to be sorry about? I appreciate you re-upping your subscription, J-Man. Alright, now if you remember, in building the dogs, and I thought this is an excellent idea, it needs some balancing or it needs some touch-ups, but there are 22 different breed abilities. And as part of the character creation, we get 2. And I'm going to roll a 22-sided dice twice to figure out what our breed abilities are going to be. 19. Oh, Diadems, thank you for gifting that to Zebra. Zebra, welcome aboard. And you know what? For all of you out there who have been gifted a sub or are continuing one of your own, let's get a little bit of hype out there. Oh my goodness, thank you. So 19 was 22. Oh wait, hang on. 22, 21, 20, 19. So we have another sprinter. So we're going to add 10 feet, and this is going to go to 40, 20, and 20. And our other one was number 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A comforting companion. You are a soothing presence. When you share an entire short or long... So that should say rest. Again, this document needs some editing, needs some attention. It was released on a Kickstarter, and it still needs some work, I think. The miniatures are awesome. In fact, the miniatures are being painted. So you can see examples of those maybe in a couple weeks. So you are a soothing presence. When you share an entire short or long rest with up to 6 creatures you choose within 30 feet of you, each regains hit points equal to your level. Maybe that was part of why this was a medic dog. He worms his way into your heart so he can eat it later. Well, you know, there's pills now for heartworms you can give to your pets. Like a support dog. And you know what? What could make a better medic, right? In a military unit. He can sprint up and then just sit in your lap and help you recuperate. A male lapdog, a neutral evil male lapdog, Necromancer, who was or is in a military unit as a medic, and is a sprinter and comforting companion. I mean, someone who knows a lot about death is going to be there at your side, as it happens. What if the person couldn't help you out? Otherwise, I guess that's not a bad way to go. If you're injured, the lapdog can lay on you and help keep you warm until other help can arrive. Though I think something happened probably due to that crushing defeat. Right? If we come down here, the bond. I'll never forget the crushing defeat my company suffered or the enemies that dealt it. That might have been what ended up breaking, in a sense, our good little medic doggo, and sent him on the path of necromancy. Now, necromancy is not inherently evil. I do want to make sure that's clear. Necromancers and necromancy is not inherently an evil practice. In this case, we could, the study of necromancy, it could just be the study of medicine, right? You have to dissect a lot of corpses. You have to understand biology and anatomy and how it works. You have to be able to know the parts and how they move and all that. So I want to make sure that while we do have an evil character, a selfish character is a better way to describe it, the necromancy isn't what is necessarily making this person evil. What could have had our small little lapdog medic snap is the fact that as a medic, he lost everyone in his unit due to a crushing defeat, right? Maybe he hid underneath the bodies of his friends, surrounded by the dead. And while that set him on the path of necromancy, if he wasn't on there already as a part of his medical training, then this just soured his personality to be more selfish and withdrawn. Kind of like a PTSD effect. Maybe after they die, he keeps them with him. Yeah, he might very well have his old sort of band of brothers back in his little wizard doghouse or whatever. His wizard tower equivalent. Guarding him. And he might even talk to him. And if they talk back, I mean, it might be magically compulsed or compelled. Or in his own mind, or both. But yeah, he could even have this kind of obsession. And after that, maybe that's what had him be able to stare down a hellhound without flinching. He's seen death. He was covered in the blood and guts of his friends in this war. What? A dog's gonna roll up on him that's like breathing smoke and fire? Pfft, get out of here. I was covered in my friends. I'm gonna leave the sentence there because I don't want to describe what, friends is in possessive plural. All right, so we have our background, we have our race, we have an idea. I'm still open. I'm still open for lapdog breeds. If you feel like you're getting a better sense of who this character is. English lessons? What do you mean, Diadems? And so now let us discover what being a necromancer means. Let's look at our class. By level 10, remember, we're just worried about this stuff right here. We know 5 cantrips. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Our proficiency bonus is +4. 4, 3, 3, 3, 2 for our spell slots. 3, 3, 3, 2. We are going to have 10 d6 hit dice. to recuperate as we're level 10 and we're a D6 hit die class. Pretty simple. No armor proficiency, but we do get some odds and ends for weapons. Daggers, darts, slings, quarterstaffs, and light crossbows. No tool proficiencies. And skills, we can choose... int and wisdom, by the way, are going to be our saving throw proficiencies. Choose 2 from Arcana, History, Insight, Investigation, Medicine, and Religion. Well, given the fact that this was a medic, I think we have a strong case for medicine. And... if he took up not just going to the pursuit of medical arts, Arcana could work. History could work if this person studied battles and heraldry and all that. Oh, how I was phrasing the sentence. Gotcha. It was very eloquent. Well, thank you. Some of the form fillable stuff that I use here, Lysaria, is here. Arcana or History are really kind of resonating with me here. But then again, to be a medic, you do have to be compassionate. Crude sense of humor. I can stare down a hellhound. Might. I never forget the crushing defeat, and I'd rather eat my armor than admit when I'm wrong. Maddie, a true Renaissance man, his knowledge is quite vast. What was I referencing that would be vast knowledge? I think we'll go Arcana to reflect the fact that we had someone who's studying medicine and decided to take up the arcane arts. If you can't patch him up on the battlefield, he'll fix him in post. Let's give him a quarterstaff. Component pouch or an arcane focus. The arcane focus could very well be that trophy that was found on the battlefield. So actually, let's roll that up real quick. Let's see what chapter 5 equipment. Let's see. What did he find? This could have sent him on the path. And so that's why he's using it as an arcane focus to cast his spells. Let's roll percentile and find out. A 26. And arcane, or not arcane, or we're using it as such, but trinket number 26 is a bag containing 47 humanoid teeth, one of which is rotten. Whew. Hello, didn't this happen last time? Did I not say that this stuff writes itself? A bag containing 47 humanoid teeth, one of which is rotten. If you can't save them, raise them. You know, a friend of mine who's a veteran, was telling me some tales from when he was over there. He was an engineer. Now, engineers mean you actually blow stuff up and destroy it, not build it necessarily. But anyway, you know, he was telling me a story, and he was kind of getting to the resolution, and he said, you know, at the time he didn't stop to think about it, but after an attack, and they brought someone into the field medic, because the medic has to do triage and help who he can first, right? And the medic told him, I can't sew hamburger I can't sew Hamburger back into a cow. Give him some morphine. That's the best we can do. And a lesson like that, right? Battlefield medicine is it's medicine, but it is not your standard, going to the doctor for a checkup. It's, you gotta make major decisions tough and on the fly. Been working on my diesel punk settings, says Cake Boss. Made leaps and bounds with the ideas and made a couple variants of the sheet. One meant for players, the other for GMs. What do you mean by the sheet, Cake Boss? So, this bag of teeth. Maybe he collected them, right? He collected them from the battlefield after he wiggled his way out from underneath the pile of his friends that he hid under. Maybe he's ashamed of that. That could even be going into why he was so selfish. Or because he's afraid. If people found out what he did. Maybe he has survivor's guilt. He doesn't even have to feel ashamed for actions. He just feels psychologically burdened because he survived the attack and so many other people didn't. Oh, gotcha, Cake Boss. So like a campaign primer, right? Let's go back to Wizard. If this person was brought up in military, we went Arcana. No, that'll work. Arcana works. What am I doing? And we're gonna get a spell book as well. We are going to get Arcane Recovery, and after that, we don't get anything from our class until level 18, so we're going to do that. Now our archetype, right, our school is going to give us some things. Evocation, Illusion, Necromancy. The School of Necromancy explores the cosmic forces of life, death, and undeath. As you focus your studies in this tradition, you learn to manipulate the energy that animates all living things. As you progress, you learn to sap the life force from a creature as your magic destroys its body, transforming that vital energy into magical power that you can manipulate. Most people see necromancers as menacing or even villainous due to the close association with death. Not all necromancers are evil, but the forces they manipulate are considered taboo by many societies. Yeah, if you want to throw if you're looking for some input, you can put that in our RPG workshop, and I'll take a look at it, Cake Boss. All right, so from our archetype, we are going to be a Necromancy Savant. And we're going to have the Grim Harvest ability. Gain the ability to reap life energy from creatures you kill with your spells. Once per turn, when you kill one or more creatures with a spell of first level or higher, you regain hit points equal to twice the spell's level. And higher, it scales. Then we are going to get Undead Thralls. At 6th level, you add the Animate Dead spell to your spellbook if it's not there already. When you cast Animate Dead, you can target one additional corpse or pile of bones, creating another zombie or skeleton as appropriate. Whenever you create an undead using a necromancy spell, it has additional benefits, and they're bolstered. And then by level 10, we get one last necromancy buff, and that is Inured to Undeath. Beginning at 10th level, you have resistance to necrotic damage, and your hit point maximum can't be reduced. You have spent so much time dealing with the undead and the forces that animate them that you have become inured to some of their worst effects. So up here for IRV, immunities, resistances, and vulnerabilities, I'm going to fill in the little dot right here for resistance and for necromantic energy, or necrotic energy, I should say. All right. We're almost at the point of dropping stats. And remember, Stats and spells come last. They can help accent a character, but I want to know who my character is first before I worry about the mechanics of the character. I mean, in a sense, and J-Man, if this is an appropriate comparison to art, I want to know not just what I'm drawing, but if it's a person, I want to know who I'm drawing. You know, what are some basic facts of this person? Are they melancholic? Are they giddy? Is there something important where they have a lazy eye? Or they're missing teeth or for some reason. Maybe they got into a fight when they were young. You know, is the person often seen smiling? And these are points that are important to keep in mind when you're drawing a character or you're sculpting a character or whatever, right? You have to know who or what your subject matter is. Heck, even if it's a landscaping painting. Bob Ross spent a good long while on an Air Force base in Alaska surrounded by those mountains. And if you don't think he took time almost every day to go and look at those mountains and to understand the weather pattern and to understand the glaciers and to understand the wildlife and the botany, you know, the flora and the fauna and the not so merry weather. Before he started doing those paintings, you know, he can do those paintings because he studied his subject. He was comfortable and familiar with his subject. Body language is everything. For art, body language mimics mindset. As an artist, we have a snapshot to get across a character. Yeah, you have to convey more than just the pretty colors in the outline. Yeah. And if any of what I said, J-Man, if I'm talking out my rear end, I mean, call me out on it, but I'd imagine that, because it's also not just the things that you present. It's the things that you purposely don't present. Because you are ultimately in creation of every aspect of this character. It's not like you're a photographer and someone walks up to you and says, take my picture, and it's kind of out of your, like, a lot of it is out of your control. Maybe not the pose or, you know, like a smile, right? If you are drawing a character or painting a character, right? Let's say it's a female character, and you have some cleavage exposed, or you don't have cleavage exposed. The things that you do or don't do are done so purposely. Why did you expose the cleavage? Why did you not expose the cleavage? Did she do it because honestly, it's not sexual, and you can even paint it as such because it is just a hot day, and she's trying to cool off while trying to remain modest? Why is she smiling? Why is she not smiling? Why is she wearing a hat? Why is she not wearing a hat? So everything that is created for these characters is done so willfully. Because the character is the sum of not just the parts that are presented, but of the information that is not presented to you about the character. About why things aren't present. Why doesn't she have a wedding ring, or an engagement band, or a tattoo? Some things might be societally expected, others might not. If, you know, in the context matters. What would be, actually, let's take post-human condition as an interesting example. One of the weirdest things that you could probably put in that book is a normal person. Because in looking through that book, I'm going to ask myself, what is going on with this person? Why does he look normal? This is not right. Every little thing you show, every little thing you show tells the viewer about the character. It's all done specifically. Yep. And you know what? So in our own way, J-Man, I do my best with the narration and the character creation so that we can all, I mean, whether we're good artists and like we can externalize our thoughts, you know, I can't promise everyone can do that, or at least not to the degree that we hope that we can. But in the theater of the mind, something that we all have because we're all human beings, you know, and it isn't very in degrees, but this is ultimately, it's the most mutable, most responsive, most vivid thing that we can do. And so as we talk about these characters, I really hope that you can envision them. You know, so here, so here we're talking about this lapdog that was a companion animal, a medic in a military unit, went through a tragedy. Can you imagine this poor little pug or Jack Russell or Scottish Terrier or something being in a battle and then being surrounded by dead companions, maybe like crawling underneath him to hide from the enemy so that he too is also not killed? You know, crawling out covered in blood, and how shaken this has made our little character here, to the point that maybe he realizes that medicine isn't his calling. But as I was joking about earlier, we'll fix it in post. And so he wants to study not just the healing arts, but he wants to understand death. Maybe the study of necromancy is a therapy for him, right? Maybe he's so afraid of death that he took up learning about it. Right? He wants to get better. He doesn't want to live like this. Yes, he is neutral evil. That doesn't mean that he has a mustache he twirls and wants to plot to take over the world. It could mean that he's paranoid to a degree. He's selfish because of what he's gone through, and he wants to be better because he's afflicted. Did you all just imagine in your own way? We could have even thought about different dogs, but did you just imagine that? You know, in your mind, you know, in the path, are you getting this montage or these vignettes of this awakened dog studying arcane books and, you know, ancient anatomy drawings of various creatures to understand the forces of life and death? Can you imagine the doggo eyes opening wide as revelation appears about, you know, things that are helping him not only be educated, but tackle his fears and to help him recover from the demons that have been chasing him. Maybe even literally, if it was demons that wiped out his band. I mean, we're talking sort of like berserk stuff going on. I look at the character sheet as the writer and the artist as I flesh it out. Actually, if you don't mind my asking, because you can offer a little bit of inside baseball on this, J-Man. So when you were approached by Lamentations of the Flame Princess, and you were prompted with making all the characters that you did, were you handed a character sheet, or, you know, did they tell you, oh yeah, make a sad clown, and did you have to go back and tell them, dude, I need more than just a prompt for a sad clown? Like, what are some things that you look for or that are provided to you in order to conceptualize this? I was handed insert art here. So a very minimalist approach then, right? Oh my gosh. It was good. So you got to it gave you free reign, so that really had you sit down and read the. But you were supplied with other content though, right? Because you were given context that it was about these kind of like demonic gypsy clowns, that the story was about this kidnapping and such, right? Like, so that there was context for you to work in, maybe just not the minutia or the specifics of every character. J-Man, you're allowed to get real. Well, J-Man is going on a well-deserved and asked-for rant. I'm going to take a look at the feats that are available for class-specific stuff here. You can temporarily learn other spells as you scrounge for knowledge. Choose a willing creature and spend 15 minutes with them discussing the intricacies of their spellcasting. You may learn that spell that the creature knows if you have it prepared, but it does not count against the number of spells you can prepare. You can cast this spell until the end of your next long rest. You are determined mind when it comes to spellcasting. You have advantage on any concentration checks. Or your natural affinity with the creatures of the world makes summoning familiars far easier. You may prepare the Find Familiar spell without a spell book. Also, reduce the casting time to 1 minute and the cost to 1 gold. Probably the Scrounger, right? If you, because this could reflect that maybe he can learn something off of the undead that he brings back, or that he picked up tips and tricks along the way traveling with his companions in the army. So let's give him this feat of Arcanine. And I don't know if they meant that as like arcanine Scrounger. Otherwise, if it's arcane, it's simple misspelling. So that's not going to increase any of our stats, but we're still going to get one other bump because we get one at 4 and one at 8. So J-Man is saying they still do it wrong. The artist is brought in as an afterthought in most tabletop RPGs. Artists can shape the entire module or world. Look at Braum with Dark Sun. He defined that world. Because the words... Because the same words can mean so many different things to so many different people, an artist rendition provides a common starting area. Is that fair? Some sort of, an anchor. There we go, an anchor, correct. And from there, we can drift, right? A ship can drift all around an anchor, but it's still anchored. Yeah, you're correct, J-Man. And I'll tell you, there's some supplemental materials that I'm working on personally. And that is where creative creature Carla, I don't see her lurking in chat, but I commissioned and got Carla in the concept phase because her art was really resonating with the picture that I had in my mind, but I wanted to see her take on it. And getting that kind of drawing and feedback from her has helped me revise and think of ways differently than I would have otherwise. A picture's worth 1,000 words is a cliche for a reason. Azrael, I agree. Yeah, and Nick Durek, I think Arcanine is a pun. Trust your artist. Yeah, because look, you all are trained in your own ways. You either are trained classically, and you have a piece of paper and an edumacation to go with it, or you've trained in the school of hard knocks artistically, or even realistically, and that gives you a new perspective. If I'm looking at your portfolio, I don't really know or necessarily care if you have a master's degree in Asian color theory or something along those lines. If you have a degree in art history, I'm sure that does add to your pedigree, but ultimately I'm looking at your portfolio for your work. And even if I don't know the names of the techniques that you employ, I know it when I see it. And do I like it? Does it resonate with me? Because J-Man, you could have 3 doctorate's degrees in art, and if I look at what you produce and I say, I'm sorry, brother, but that's just not it. It's not doing it for me. Then, it's not. Despite all the education, you could have a piece hanging in every gallery of note on several continents. But if it doesn't jive, it doesn't jive. And so you could get someone, you can get someone in high school. Or you can get a young artist. Look at the mascots. Everyone, do you see the mascots? The Black Griffin boy and the Red Dragon girl? Those were created by someone without an art degree. And someone who is not an official artist. I mean, she draws. But those mascots, oh.
Indeed.
Oh, Plunder Loot has the red, hottest, spiciest salsa. Thank you so much, Plunder Loot, for re-upping your subscription. But you know why those mascots are there? Not because there's no favors owed. It wasn't a consolation gift. Actually, talk about the emotes. She's also the one responsible for the emotes that you see here. The pictures she drew are simple, rather easy to reproduce, and they're colorful. These are all aspects that I want to think about for the channel. That what we do here is easy for you to catch on to, it's vibrant, it stands out, and it's easy for you to then reproduce to others as you go on to help teach them how to tell stories or create characters or to help them learn about the game. And you know what? If we use these mascots as an anchor, as J-Man talked about, you want to see Derek's take on the mascots? Derek just recently made this new title screen for me. And this is his version of the mascots. Right? Coffee Cat did a version of the mascots. Mantarok did a version of the Red Dragon Girl. Dark Wolf made her version of the mascots too. And they're all the mascots. I consider them all to be, I mean, if you want to say like canon art, because they all follow the basic requirements I put forward. Right here, take a look at this. Here's the same mascots, but drawn differently. And I specifically requested pink toe beans for the Black Griffin boy. So that was me. She's also the one who drew the Tumbled Wench and all the characters you see here too. Right? So she has a style, she's consistent with it. Her style might not be for everyone, and that's perfectly fine. But for what I was looking for, I was happy to support it. And you know what, J-Man? When I get your versions of the mascots, I will be happy to show them off as well. I'd be happy. Where were we? We're going to drop a Hemi in this thing, right? We got to put some stats on this character. And sorry, I missed a little bit of conversation as well. If a writer, artist, and layout artist can all jive at the start, you get a create together as a single vision. Yeah, this is on trusting your artist. Because they're the artist, right? And if you like them, give them a chance. Journey was trained in the School of Hard Art. The pencils are number 2. The art is number 1. I like that, Ezreal. It will be good. There's a 17-year-old host at the restaurant I'm a bartender at. She's done art for my D&D game. Yes, Nictorak. Yeah, and Nictorak, you're seeing pretty close to the equivalent with the art pieces that I showed off. Okay, you're gonna paint them over the credit page. Oh, the Foglios? For whatever reason, the Foglios seem to be controversial in Magic lore or art, or like meta stuff. I like their art. It's whimsical, it's fun, and that's partially why I did choose this kind of art too. I wanted something that was whimsical and fun. I mean, I might be on a soapbox right now, but which is something, J-Man has his rant button. In fact, here, I'll find it real quick. And that can apply. I'm looking to get a soapbox emote as well, so that if I ever get on a soapbox, y'all can spam it and try to bring me back down. Diadems, Nictorak is stream boss, yes. Nick Direct took over with the adoption of a fair amount of miniatures. All right, now, unlike our other person here, he is definitely going to be wise. I almost want to say int and wisdom are going to be the highest, right? Especially because we have medicine and perception here to be alert on the battlefield. So if we're going to drop in scores, we should probably go 15, 14, 13 with intimidation. 12, 10, and you know what? Maybe the study of his arts has, he's sacrificed a bit of his health for this. You've been following Phil's stuff since I saw him in Dragon Magazine. You know, and I like how Phil and his wife, Katja? I think it's Katja. They have kind of similar art styles that kind of complement each other. And by the way, if any of you want to change this around, you know, say that he has an 8 strength, you know, his training in athletics, it doesn't mean, you know, he can still do stuff, but maybe he's just weaker and instead has a normal constitution. Or if we want to say that his constitution was somehow affected by his study of necromancy or something, we can do that as well. You know, these stats are also telling the story of our character. They're not just crunch. They are also fluff. But if we go with what we have here, 13 charisma, and now we can apply one stat bump here. Let's do so and give his intelligence a bump and his charisma a bump as well. That's going to put charisma at 2, wisdom 2, and 3, constitution -1, dexterity 2, strength is 0. Kaja? Okay. Saving throw is 0, but athletics is 4. Dex is going to be 2 down the line. Constitution -1. Fortunately, has resistance to necrotic stuff, which necrotic damage tends to affect Constitution, or causes you to make Constitution saving throws. Intelligence stuff, aha, now we're a little bit more in his territory. So we have 7 for the saving throw and Arcana, and then 3 down the line for everything else. Wisdom is going to be 6 for the proficiencies and 2 for the non-proficiencies. Charisma is going to be the same. 2 for the non-proficiencies and 6 for the thing in which he is proficient. Initiative is a dex check, so that's a +2. Armor class, if we're not, you know, if we're not wearing armor or anything, it's going to be 12. 10 plus our dex score. You know, maybe he takes mage armor and then it would go up to a 15 or so. But you know what? We don't have it, and so that's that. No dark vision. Our passive perception is going to be a 16. And we can give this character a name now, by the way. A name, and I'm still looking for a breed of dog. Hit points. Level 1, you get your maximum hit die and hit points, so 6. Then for the remaining 9 levels of our 10, you get half plus 1. So it's going to be 4, right? We're D6, so half of that is 3, plus 1 is 4. And then for all of your levels, you get your Constitution modifier in bonus hit points. Well, you know what that's going to do? That's going to mean this is a -10. So this is going to be a 36. So this is going to be a 26. Plus 6 is we have 32 hit points. We are a very fragile, we're a very fragile character. But you know what? We're also fragile mentally and physically, right? We're a glass cannon. We will cast powerful, withering necromancy spells. But being a glass cannon, we can't really take that too much ourselves. We're squishy. But that's also why we can rely on some of these necromancy spells to recover hit points, or to reduce the strength of the people trying to attack us, or to somehow sap their minds and spirits. Azrael, all right, so you think that this is a Pomeranian? Zebra says it still feels like this is a Chihuahua. Zelinde, Dungeons and Doggies is a supplement that is provided from a Kickstarter campaign. And so if you look that up, I don't have the link immediately handy, but if you look that up, I think they have a link to their companion. As well, there is also a one-shot adventure that you can play these characters through. You're very welcome, Zelinde. O'Sheeps thinks that this is a Pomeranian as well. Or as a friend of mine in college called them, a Pomeranian. Yeah, the Dachshund sort of sample character is a sorcerer. Let's see, so our bite is going to be 1d8 plus 0, and if we're wielding a quarterstaff, it's going to be pretty much the same. Our attack is just going to be a plus 4. If we're attacking with our spells, it's going to be our, because it's off of intelligence with wizards, 3 plus proficiency, so it's 7. And then to save against our spells, you add a static 8. So a 15 to save against the effects of our spells. If we're trying to hit someone with a spell, we roll a d20 and add 7. Pomeranian works for you if that's what other people want. I've heard several say Pomeranian. So we have this poor like PTSD Pomeranian who's a battlefield medic turned into a necromancer. And then the last thing we'll do for this segment is to throw in the spells that are known. Now, wizards are nice because you can learn, find, or buy spells to add to your spell book. You can ultimately know every spell. From what you're automatically given, you start you have 6 first level spells of your choice at level 1. So if we're doing what we did similar to the sorcerer that we made, we come down here, level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then at level 2, because you get 2 spells, you get 2 spells at every level. 3, 4. Oh, Diadems, thank you for gifting that. And welcome aboard to you, Zal. Throw a little bit of hype in there, huh? Five, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, Kate! Kate, you've been targeted. Welcome aboard, Kate, and thank you again, Diadems. That is very kind of you. Yep, and notice for those of you who are aboard, you have some very mild salsa, like a green salsa, or if you would prefer guac. So thank you for that, and you know, for all of you who do subscribe as a gift, or if you choose to continue it, I do sincerely hope that for all of the exercises we go through, all of the experiences shared, the questions answered, that you know, you do find value in the subscription, and that if you do subscribe, you choose to keep it. And if not, I will work as hard as I can to make sure that I am worth the $5 a month for those of you who subscribe. And if I ever fall below those expectations, look, I'm a small businessman. I get it. You vote with your wallet. And I will continually try to improve and earn not just your time here, your lurking, your follows, your chat activity, but for those of you who do step up and subscribe or have gifted and you want to renew that subscription yourself, I will do all in my power that I can to continue to earn your time and your trust. And I understand, you know, we work for that money, and it competes against bills. So I'm 100% aware that, you know, $5, that could be 2.5 gallons of gas that you need to get back and forth to work or to drop your kid off at daycare or school or something. And I know I'm competing against that. Plunder is totally worth it. You say that as like tears from the red hot salsa are pouring down your face. No, Kate, I don't want you to feel guilty. I'm not here to pressure you. I'm not here to I'm not here to make anyone feel bad. I'm not here to do any of that. Yeah, Kate, I totally understand. 100%. Kids, the money sink people said Magic was bad. Yeah, Magic the Gathering. I got you, Misfit. Yeah, Kate, don't you worry about that. I am not here to guilt anyone over subscriptions. And lastly, we have 5 cantrips. Yeah, Diadems, that is amazing, and I'm so appreciative of you stepping up and gifting subs like that. And I do sincerely hope that those who have received your gift subscriptions do cherish it and are very thankful. Here's what I find to be the best thing to say about subscriptions. Exactly. Yeah, viewers should support themselves. You all need to support yourselves before you, like, help yourself before you can help others. That's not a selfish thing to say or a philosophy to follow. Kate, I'm sure that you do. Now, a wizard has all of these spells, but you can't cast them all at the same time. You have to choose every day you wake up. So the number of spells you prepare is equal to your wizard level plus your intelligence modifier. So in this case, it's going to be 13. Because we're level 10 and we have a 3 int. So outside of our cantrips, from amongst all of our levels and all the spells, we can prepare 13 different spells to cast for the day. Man, wrapping my head around the fact that I'm pretty much a small business owner and trying to figure out business plans is really doing my head in tonight. I am literally dead. Oh, Sheeps, if you need some input or advice, I might be able to help you as a small business person myself, and there's probably some others in the community that can also step up and help if it's something that you wanted to discuss. If it's not, if it's private or whatever, I totally understand. But if there's a way that maybe we can help give you some advice or just a way to approach something, then hopefully the community can help you. And so here we have it, everyone. All our Necromancer needs is a name. So we have a male Pomeranian combat medic turned Necromancer. What name would a person like this have? Forrest with 2 R's, MacFluff. Is this after DeForest Kelley, who played Bones? Oh, it says Bones in the... Yeah, J-Man, you could probably give her specific art and business insight. I can provide her generic small business insight. Do any of you know generally the rank that a combat medic attains? I mean, I don't know if that question is manufactured or worded properly. Like, are combat medics traditionally like sergeants? Are they higher? Are they lower? Mr. Diggles von Scruff III says Zalinde. Don't do anything for exposure or for free. I guess that's the one thing I can say, says Kate. Diadems, you think they're sergeants? Oh, yeah, DeForest Kelley plus Leonard McCoy, the obligatory pun. Patreon? Okay, I do not have experience with Patreon, so you're going to need to tap into Journeyman or someone else who uses that service. Azrael says they're petty officers in the Navy. They can make it to Command Sergeant Major. In the Army. So if we call this person Sergeant MacFluff, Sergeant Forrest, and maybe we'll go Knucklebones because of the dice. Sergeant Forrest, Knucklebones, MacFluff. Petty Officer MacFluff. I mean, we can go Navy. I mean, just because it says soldier doesn't mean it has to be a land army. It's been a while since I've looked at ranks and rates. My dad was a Special Forces medic in Vietnam, says Daly. So then, how about that? Petty, because it's a small breed dog. That probably wasn't a good joke. Petty Officer, Forrest, Knucklebones, MacFluff. Cake Boss, my old man was a Black Hawk crew chief. Oh, wow. E9 and some specialized medics can be warrant officers. Now, wait, are warrant officers, is that a Navy term only? Because I've only really ever heard of warrant officer used in that kind of a situation. Or is it Navy and Air Force? Or is that in land units as well? Yeah, Daly, you got baited out, huh? Gotcha. At sea, they're corpsmen, though. See, that's interesting. You know, and I just finished listening to Starship Troopers on Audible. And it was an interesting take because they confronted this, right? Where you had the mobile infantry, which was kind of like Marine Corps-ish, except they had, like, power suits. And their rank structure was different than the Navy, the Space Navy. And so when you had a captain of the mobile infantry and the captain of the ship, how there was deference to the captain of the ship, as if that person was a sovereign, because, I mean, and so that's like the one time you would hear, what was the quote? It's the one time you'd hear a captain be called, like, lieutenant or something, like, or like master sergeant, or like some, like, slightly below, like, equivalent-ish title that's not captain. Because the rank of captain, if you have a naval captain and an army captain together, the Navy captain gets the deference. Petty Officer Forrest MacFluff, at your service. Pet me at your own peril. A Navy captain equals an Army colonel. Okay. No, warrant officers are between non-com and an officer. An Army captain is equal to a lieutenant. Okay, so that I think that was the reference, if I'm recalling from the manual. So you'd have the Navy captain address the mobile infantry captain as lieutenant. See all the fun things you learn when you play D&D? Making a Pomeranian D&D character. Look at the journey that we've taken together, everyone. And we have a journeyman along the journey with us. But look at everything we've explored and we've talked about and we've learned and we've done together. Isn't that amazing? I love it. I love it a lot. A full bird, they are called. And heck, this isn't even touching on Air Force stuff, right? And of course, all the friendly rivalries that exist between the branches. That was brought up in Starship Troopers as well. If only touched upon, it definitely exists. Should have addressed him as Major. Oh, it might have been Major. Courtesy promotion because there can... Yeah, actually, you know what? Now that you say that, Azrael, I think it wasn't Lieutenant. I think the captain of the vessel that was dropping the mobile infantry called the captain of that unit Major. I think that was the case. That sounds very familiar, Azrael. How dare you, sir? You can't force this education on me. I'm here to gut trolls, not to learn crud. Shame on you, shame. In the early 90s, me and my buddy were at Fred Meyer's and saw a full bird colonel walking around. Wait, Fred Meyer's? Fort Myers? Although Fort Myers is a city in Florida. But I imagine when you say full bird, you mean like medals, like a bulletproof vest of medals and badges and stuff. Oh, a Fred Meyer store? Have I heard of those? I don't know. An Army colonel. Wow. Well, maybe one day our Pomeranian will just have his sides just draped with medals and insignias and chevrons and if not pauldrons, then epaulets and all kinds of ribbons. Misfit says, I want cake now. Are they? Oh, you know what? That does sound... I'll have to check on some of their bags because they have like the whole family of stores. That could very well be. Plunder loot. I've seen several generals and admirals all the time. Yeah, you got stories, Plunder loot. All right, I'm gonna get up and take another quick stretch, and then we can still talk rank. We could just have fun. We could find someone to raid if we're like, yeah, let's turn it in. I don't know. All I know is I'm gonna get up and I'll be back shortly.